I was trying to find the clip, couldn't find it, but I at least found the words for it. So let's get it going here and cue Indigo Saint. If my mouse wouldn't be so highly crazy over here. Okay, cue Indigo Saint. Let's get it. Indigo Saint in the building. Blackrue investing. Let's go.
Who's this producer? Best believe it was Blackrue investing. With your money, you ain't gotta be guessing. Profits is what we manifesting. So we binge on our Blackrue investing. Best believe it was Blackrue investing. Dark horse in this race, we ain't resting. We got stocks, we got crypto with a blessing. So thank God for that Blackrue investing. Best believe it was Blackrue investing.
What is going on, guys? Back with another show here. Let's share the screen here. Okay, awesome. And then let's go over here so we can get your comments. Definitely come over here and like and subscribe. It's www.darkhorsewatcher.com. Take you straight to my channel. Pretty much post like if not every day, every other day, and be sure to look on the live portion because I do more lives than I do videos nowadays. Check both areas so you can see stuff like what is high rise in crypto, Steam Exchange, and basically when I knew Sam was a crook, reaction, Bankless SVF versus Eric V. So make sure you check out both sections, both videos and live. You can get stuff like what is Casper Crypto, stuff like that. So definitely check both sections. I'm going to go in here so I can get comments from everybody. Hopefully, too, this gives me comments that would show up on Gentlemen of Crypto as well. Because we're simulcasting on not only Gentlemen of Crypto, but also on Blackrue Investing channel. What is up, GT Nuts? I know King had announced on Friday would not have any shows on the weekend, but we didn't coordinate on that. So that was on me. I should coordinated with him on that. Let him know there's going to be a show for me over on the weekend. Investing channel. Let me just make sure I mute this. So good to see you in the chat, GT Nuts. And yeah, we're going to get into it today. Cramer says that XRP is a con, and then crypto US ban. Very, very important we cover this because I don't know about if you're trying to explain crypto to people in your family, these are the counterpoints that they're going to be hearing. They're going to be hearing people like Cramer, people who people have trusted for a while, and Cramer used to run a hedge fund, all these different things. So being in like this investing community, you guys might know, okay, a lot of stuff Cramer says is crap. A lot of stuff Cramer says has an agenda behind it. However, your people might not know that a lot of stuff that Cramer says is this and that. And now we're going to be arming you with information where you can be like, okay, you know what? There might be a little agenda behind what Cramer's saying. There might be an agenda behind what these senators are saying with the crypto US ban. Because look at this, look at that. It's not quite like what these people are saying. Okay. So I want to cover these counterpoints and I want to address them so that you guys can be armed with telling people in your life, of course, they might still have their opinion and they might still decide not to invest in crypto. That's fine. But at least you got the receipts to show them, right? at least you have some things where you can arm to show them, okay, I understand that this is the information you're hearing, but let me show you something different. Okay, so let's get into it a little bit here. So here's the info. Cramer says that, okay, so and this is a common communication kind of, not misdirection, it's kind of association, word association, quote unquote magic that they're doing when they say certain things like this. So this was about 8 days ago. Actually, maybe a little bit more, maybe like it's the 31st, so it's a little bit more than 8 days ago, like 2 weeks ago or something like that. So longtime CNBC host Jim Cramer has offered a scathing critique of cryptocurrencies during his Thursday appearance on Squawkbox, describing the whole thing as a gigantic con. The whole thing seems to be so bottomless that I don't know how to fathom it, he says. According to Cramer, XRP, Dogecoin, and Solana are all scams. Now, some people know that Solana is connected to the whole FTX thing. So he's using the whole association of Solana possibly being a scam and being connected to FTX. He's using that whole association to group XRP in with that. He's using the fact that most people know Dogecoin lost all its money after Elon pumped it up by saying certain things. So he's using the association of the Dogecoin and the Solana and tacking it on to XRP. Because you'll notice the rest of what's said here is going to be the XRP, and they don't really even touch Solana and Doge saying that. So let's go to the rest of the article. The financial journalist VC should not follow crypto prices, taking a dig at XRP, questioning why cheap stocks do not get the same treatment as digital assets. I mean, if we think that XRP USD coin is something we should be following, well, we should put up the runway rent and Stitch Fix there, which are kind of cheaper stocks, but they're real companies. That might mean something to people that follow rent and follow Stitch Fix a little bit more. But I think he's basically saying, okay, these cheap stocks should, we might as well put up cheap stocks if we're going to talk about XRP. Again, like he associated Doge and Solana, and now it's going to attribute other stuff to XRP based off of these other stocks. So earlier this week, Cramer also predicted the popular altcoins, again, here more Cardano and XRP bashing, right? Including XRP and Cardano might crash to zero. Cramer has seemingly taken an often heard stance on cryptocurrency assets that revolves around the idea that only blockchain technology holds value, not crypto itself. And this is basically their whole spiel. Only blockchain, not crypto. Okay, the former hedge fund manager has complained about people conflating blockchain with the con. Cramer has echoed the view of JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon, who recently praised blockchain while comparing crypto to pet rocks. Again, Jamie Dimon's kind of speaking out of both sides of his mouth, and we went over this before, where consensus is basically kind of owned by Ethereum. Consensus, the people who do the work on Ethereum, is owned by JP Morgan. So when he says the whole pet rock thing, and we went over this last week, check out the show on that, where a consensus guy said Cardano was zombieware. So that's the show. That's the show you should be checking to find that. Um, a consensus guy said Cardano is zombieware, but consensus again is the company that's ran by JP Morgan people. Okay. And he also used the whole term about comparing Bitcoin to a pet rock, just like CEO JP Morgan did right here. So now, to counterpoint Jim's whole point on XRP being a scam, we see here Ripple, the company who runs and owns the token XRP, basically, right, is a World Economic Forum partner. And we all know the people behind World Economic Forum basically run the world. Um, you know, maybe the people in your family are not familiar with World Economic Forum, and you can get them kind of up to speed on the World Economic Forum and all their panels, and that these are the true forces behind the world, not a lot of these leaders. Like, well, a lot of the leaders go to the World Economic Forum, including King Charles, now King Charles, and give speeches at the World Economic Forum. So this is the type of people that you're dealing with the World Economic Forum. Again, and you can see here, Ripple. We've gone over this before. Travelex Bank, they're in league with them and the Central Bank of Brazil to do remittance payments and possible CBDC work in a market that has more than 780 billion payments. So see, there's a starkly different contrast. Like, there seems to be, they're saying one thing about crypto in the US, whereas overseas and internationally, you got all these moves being made for crypto where Ripple's getting in good with the Central Bank of Brazil, and Brazil over there, they're getting in good here with the UAE, spreading things like days after expanding to Brazil, they now expand to the United Arab Emirates, the UAE. So all this stuff is happening worldwide with Ripple and XRP. But all that we hear here locally, all that we hear in the States is, oh, it's a con. It's a con from propagandists like Jim Cramer. Okay. So this is something you can show your family, like, okay, if Ripple and XRP is such a con, why are they expanding overseas to Ripple? I mean, to UAE. Why do they have deals in place with Brazil where they're doing all of this in a market that has 780 billion with the B, which is like a thousand million, by the way. 1 billion is a thousand million, a thousand million. Um, why are they doing all of these deals overseas if they're such a scam, like Jim Cramer says, right? Um, so let that be known. Now, here we go into the U.S. possibly banning crypto. I couldn't find the clip I really wanted to find. And by the way, if you guys have questions, we'll go over those today as well. Let me go see who's in the house over here. Okay. Got GT Nuts. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. So I couldn't find the clip I wanted. We're going to play this clip and we're going to look at a transcript of some stuff that he said. This is a U.S. Senator, Sherrod Brown, a senator from Ohio. He seems to be one of the people they really kind of call out. If you Google his name, you'll see a lot of CNBC posts with him. you'll see a lot of stuff where he's kind of out there. You know what I mean? Like he's in the news regularly. So let's see what he has to say about FTX being one of the problem. And you'll notice those communication tactics that I told you about before. He's going to reference things like terrorism, different type of egregores, different types of words where they've said them enough and they've mentioned them enough. They've included them in movies. They put different things in to give us a certain response when we hear certain words like terrorism, like Enron, like certain leaders, like rhymes with Hitler, you know, Germany, right? Stalin, certain things. We hear these right away. We're supposed to get a certain response. So relating crypto to these things now makes a very negative feeling for people who do not know and who have not done their research on crypto. It's a very, very calculated thing they're doing here. So let's listen here.
Which is as head of the Senate Banking Committee. It's
okay. Let's turn it up a bit.
to something you're also very focused on right now, which is as head of the Senate Banking Committee. It's what to do about crypto and what we've learned from FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried. I got to play what the U.S. Attorney from the Southern District of New York said earlier this week. Let me play that for you.
I think it's fair to say that by anyone's lights, this is one of the biggest financial frauds in American history.
And a big part of
and remember this fraud, Gary Gensler and the SEC were heavy. They were talking to Sam Bankman-Fried heavy. And I've heard different places that FTX may have been involved with the World Economic Forum. I think a lot of those articles have been scrubbed, but FTX was in with all the known, all the people that are supposed to be the people that are like the trustable, the regulated. All of those people, FTX was in with that. But they're spinning this now so they can use it for a crypto regulation or a crypto ban. Let's continue to hear what he's saying.
This financial fraud is how much, frankly, Sam Bankman-Fried, his executives, FTX, took advantage of political parties' hunger for campaign contributions and essentially used political donations to create the illusion of credibility for what many people think is a Ponzi.
He took advantage of their hunger for political. Do you see how he's spinning that? He took advantage of their need for political funds. He took advantage of it. Not that he he paid to play, you know what I mean? No, he took advantage of them. He took advantage of them.
Fraud in American history.
And a big part of this financial fraud is how much, frankly, Sam Bankman-Fried, his executives, FTX, took advantage of political parties' hunger for campaign contributions and essentially used political donations to create the illusion of credibility for what many people think is a Ponzi scheme. I know probably where your head is on this, but my goodness, that's a huge vulnerability in our.
It was a Ponzi scheme, but again, remember now, connections, they're quote unquote alleged. Let me just say that so I don't get in trouble. But they're quote unquote alleged connections, like real connections, not some theory with FTX and the Ukraine. Part of Ukrainian donations were going through FTX. So this is way like huge, way big. But they're making it out like this dude's a villain and like he was not connected to all these political people going on.
Our system, is it not?
Of course it is. And too much money in politics, too much unreported cash in politics. But FTX is only one huge part, but one part.
Too much unsupported cash in politics. This is coming from a senator. So he only touched on that for like a couple seconds and boom, on to FTX.
part of this problem. You originally said I chair the banking committee. When I took over almost 2 years ago as chair, it was called the banking committee because it essentially was the committee for Wall Street. And the whole name, Banking, Housing, Urban Affairs, we have aggressively taken on Wall Street. This committee is about housing. It's about public transit, what we've done in small towns and big cities in my state and around the country. And we had our 6th hearing on crypto to educate the public about its
aggressively taking on Wall Street. And okay, sure.
dangers, not just the Ponzi scheme that you talk about, and not just the lack of consumer protection or regulation, but also the threat to national security from Korean cyber criminals to drug trafficking and human trafficking and financing of terrorism and all the things that can come out of crypto. So we've got to do this.
Did you hear all the things he listed? All of these things garner a huge response. Now, there's no talk about the Ukrainian funds, donation funds that went through FTX. No talk of that. No talk of FTX talking and working with Gary Gensler for weeks. No talk of that. But they mention here egregores. They mention things that garner a huge response. Korean hackers, terrorism, human trafficking. They mention all those things, and they're now attaching these things to FTX. It's a communication tactic. All of those things that garner all these responses. And if you just listen to it in a quick second, you don't understand it, you don't hear it. But if you know these communication tactics, if you know what's going on, you now know, okay, this is a tactic. This is a tactic built to have me attach those type of things to FTX. So they're building it up. It's brilliant and it's awful at the exact same time.
Drug trafficking and human trafficking and financing of terrorism and all the things that can come out of crypto. So trafficking and human trafficking and financing, but also the threat to national security from Korean cyber criminals to drug trafficking and human trafficking and financing of terrorism and all the things that can come out of crypto. So we've got to do this right. I have already gone to Secretary of the Treasury as sort of the lead economics person in the administration, ask her to do a government-wide assessment through all the various.
And by the way, it's so funny that he touched on those items. It's also proven that certain, like the Reagan administration and stuff like that, were basically funneling different types of drugs through, like they've made movies on this, like even mainstream movies. Like I think Tom Cruise played Barry Seal, and Barry Seal was a pilot that was basically attached to the CIA and a whole bunch of other people funneling drugs into the U.S. So it's funny that they mention it, all these things, human trafficking, and drug trafficking has been linked to actual government officials. But anyways, let's go on.
Regulatory agencies, SEC is particularly aggressive, and we need to move forward that way and legislatively if it comes to that. But I've spent much of the last 8 years and a half in this job as chair of the Banking, Housing, Urban Affairs Committee, educating my colleagues and trying to educate the public about crypto and the dangers that it presents to our security as a nation and to consumers that get hoodwinked by them.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's.
And consumers get hoodwinked by them. So going deeper onto what he said, I could not find the video for this. Here's a transcript of the audio. Now, he goes so far to say ban crypto, but there's one thing I want to focus you on here before we get to the ban part. So that same Senator Sherrod Brown, this is a question he asked. Are you at all concerned? This was from the same interview, but a different part. Are you at all concerned that if the government decides crypto should be regulated, it's actually giving a green light to something that maybe some folks ought to think should be banned. Senator Tester isn't sure it should be legal. Yeah, I share that thought. So he's sharing the thought that it should be banned. Okay. But I think through what we need to do now is, as I said, get Treasury. Okay, he's speaking weird. I share that thought. I think though what we need to do is now is, as I said, get Treasury to get all the different agencies. The agencies so far that have stepped up most are Gensler at the SEC. So Gensler's the one who stepped up most. When he was the one who was speaking to Sam Bankman-Fried multiple times. He's the one who stepped up most. Okay. And Russ Benham at the Commodities Future Trading Commission. That's a more narrow jurisdiction he has. So again, he praises Gary Gensler here. Like it's such a stark difference here. Now, one thing I do commend him for, kind of, in mentioning that it should be banned. He says it may go overseas, but what we want them to do, what we need them to do at the same time, but maybe banning it. Although banning is very difficult because it will go offshore, and who knows how that will work. So he does mention basically it can't be stopped. If we ban it, it'll just go offshore. So to his credit, he at least said that. So I really don't think that the U.S. can ban crypto, because then they're just leaving themselves out of a huge pit, out of a huge technology that's going to just move on without them. And if it moves on without us, then we now become at a disadvantage because we're not making use of that technology and all other countries are. And that makes us like essentially a third world or second world when it comes to that technology. And that's not something you ever want to do as a country. And I've shared with you guys again too how they talk a lot of stuff about Bitcoin, but they always say Bitcoin's not a security; it's a commodity. They never hold it to that same regulation. And you would think, okay, if they hate crypto so much, why wouldn't they hold Bitcoin to a security regulation? It's because they hold a lot of Bitcoin. The U.S. government holds a lot of Bitcoin. So this is BitcoinTreasuries.net. Governments that hold it, as far as we know, and as far as we can know from different wallets that they've proven. Who knows if we have more in a hidden wallet or hidden wallets. But as far as what they know based off of different Bitcoin things that the U.S. has seized, like Silk Road, for instance, and you'll go out there and you can Google articles where they say the U.S. has sold all their Silk Road funds. This BitcoinTreasuries.net says currently, right now, the U.S. holds over 50K Bitcoin, valued in the current market at over $1 trillion. Now imagine a day when all of these Bitcoin are worth $1 million and the U.S. is sitting on over 50K, over $50 trillion. Well, actually, it would probably be way more than that. No, I think I'm right in saying this, because I think I think I'm right in saying this. It would be $50 trillion in Bitcoins that they would hold. Okay, so that's crazy to think about, because right now, with Bitcoin being what it is right now, it's already 1 trillion at the current value of Bitcoin. So imagine when each Bitcoin is worth $1 million. Okay, so that's why it's a commodity. They don't want it to be hit to a securities type of regulation. That wouldn't make it great for them, for the U.S. So that's something to know. That's something to know. Let's see if we have any questions in here, guys. What's up, mainly music? Yep, it's not that big banks are against crypto. They just haven't figured out how to capitalize off it. Yep. So they're just saying it's evil to lower the prices. Um, Third Eye Explosion, what's up? The FUD campaign is real. Yes, the FUD campaign is quite real, quite real. And we talked about this before, mainly a little bit. And I know you're kind of in the industry, so you know more than most. Um, the whole CBDC way, I believe, is going to be more of a way to get better or more tightly controlled spending of money. Um, that's an entirely even different subject. Um, but just as far as Ripple and Bitcoin go, um, Ripple obviously is not a common. XRP and Ripple are obviously not a common. But the thing we get to hear so much more is like, okay, oh, they're going to ban crypto, they're going to ban Bitcoin, because people come out and say, okay, that they're going to ban Bitcoin as well. However, they're not banning an asset that they hold so much of that we just showed you there. They hold 50K of. They're not banning that. They're also not banning a asset that publicly traded companies are holding. They're not banning that, but people still get like real love and hits on people thinking that, oh, it might be banned. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why they do, but here's something that you can show people in your family and say, look, okay, they're hugely publicly traded companies, including Tesla, including MicroStrategies, and like most of your family, I'm sure, has heard of Tesla. Um, Tesla, including Square or the Block, as they're now known, to again emphasize blockchain technology and not crypto. They're trying so hard to separate people's understanding of those. So look, they're publicly traded companies that are holding Bitcoin. They're not getting rid of it. And including Grayscale, there's so many, right? There's so many at this point. Yeah. So let's see here. Okay, so that's what I wanted to hit you guys with today. I'm gonna stick around to see if you guys have any questions for 5 minutes because we did start a little late. So I'm good to stick around at least for a good 20 more minutes if you guys have some questions. Well, while you guys are thinking about those questions, one thing I wanted to hit you guys with that I don't think I've totally hit you guys with yet is we all know that the housing market is pretty much down here right now. So there's some pretty cool opportunities out there in the stock market as far as like investing in mortgage companies. And maybe these companies go down even more from here, but we got a pretty big opportunity investing in mortgage companies and REITs, like real estate investment trusts. We got some really cool opportunities out there right now with that. Let me bring up FinViz, because this will show you in the cleanest manner. And we'll go to Benzinga Pro as well. Shout out to Benzinga. We got a few companies here, companies from my neck of the woods in Michigan, that are really big in mortgage companies that we may want to look at right now. So there's UWMC. This is a Michigan-based company, a mortgage company. They've been growing a lot here. They had a big sell-off here. And this big sell-off, one is probably the way that the mortgage come right now with the raising rates and interest rates. They're not getting, a lot of stuff. They're not getting a lot of houses sold right now. Two, part of this probably got sold because the owner of the business just bought the Phoenix Suns. So if we come down here and we look, where is it? They should have it listed here. Oh my God, they're hitting me with so many ads. This is getting on my nerves. Okay, he just bought the Phoenix Suns. I don't know why I don't see that here. It was here. They must have taken it out. Okay, there we go. Matt set to buy the Phoenix Suns in a $4 billion purchase. Former Michigan State walk-on, right, at Michigan State. He went to Michigan State, graduated from there. That's my alma mater. But this company is doing really good for itself. And if you look here, it's a really high dividend. And where a lot of people get in trouble with high dividends is like you're investing in a company that's like trash. You don't want to invest in a trash company with a high dividend. You want to invest in a great company with a high dividend. And I want to show you guys, this is actually a great company with a high dividend. Let's pull them up. Why don't we here? Okay, let's get rid of Canada stocks for a second, just so you can see this fully. So let's go to the calendar. Now there are two different companies we're going to look at right here. The first is, and I'll come back out for questions, Rocket Mortgage. Rocket Mortgage also owns an NBA team. Dan Gilbert, he owns the Cleveland Cavaliers. He's also from Michigan. He also went to Michigan State. So it's actually a really big rivalry between these two companies. But let's go here and look at their chart. You can look at so many chart things, or let's look at their earnings. You can look at so many chart things, and really, if you can just get it down to the nitty gritty, how much are they making? How do their earnings look? Because eventually the money will follow if the earnings look good. This is a company, okay, they went from like 1 billion right there, but I think that was a little odd. But ever since then, they've been growing really. 500, 600, 600, 800, 500, 600. So again, and this is in the raised interest rate kind of quarters. They've been growing as a company. They've been hiring more people. So this is a growing company. That's the type of company, a growing company, a company whose financials look good, and they've steadily increased their number of employees every year. Those are the type of companies you want to invest in when you see these crazy high dividend rates. This is not a crappy company. This is a growing company. This is one you want to invest in, right? Housing market is not always going to look like this. Once they back off raising interest rates, this company will be back where it was, So let's look at it weekly. It hasn't been around so long. It was a SPAC, so it started at the kind of $10 level as a SPAC, exploded a little bit to 14, not explode, but considering that it was at $10, it went up like 50%. Now sitting down here at 331 because I'm sure he had to sell off some of his shares to buy Phoenix Suns. So a great buying opportunity there for it, and plus you're getting a dividend that's paying you like a 10% right there. Another one to look at would be his biggest competitor, Rocket Mortgage, RKT. So these guys shot up to this, now chilling at about $7. I don't know why they don't list them as a dividend. Even though, let's say RKT, dividend history. They have paid out a dividend over the last couple of years. And again, they've only been around. They've only been in the market for a couple of years. So we look at their dividend history. They paid out one here, March 2021. They paid out one here, March 2022, $1. So I don't know. That's like sitting here right now. That's like, I don't know. It's in the tens, I believe. It's in the tens of dividends. But for it to be $7 paying out $1, that's a pretty darn great percentage. And if we look at their earnings, Pro, RKT, plus Rocket Financial, and that's why they changed the name to Rocket Companies. They do a lot more than just mortgages. They do like car loans. They do a lot of stuff. You can see here, okay, they were really rocking back then, but now they're down to $1 billion. But they're still like, it's a downturn in the economy, it's a recession, so it makes sense that they go down in the amount of money that they're making, but they're still over $1 billion in revenue, right? That's huge. It's huge. If we go over here to Benzinga Pro, they'll say some of it. Rock Companies is a financial services company that was originally founded as Rock Financial in 1985 and is currently based in Detroit. Rocket Companies offers a wide array of services and products, but is best known for its Rocket Mortgage business. The company mortgage lending operations are split between direct-to-consumer lending, which sees borrowers accessing the company's lending arm directly through either its mobile app or its website, and its partner at or where mortgage brokers and firms use Rocket's origination process to offer loans to your customers. Okay, but they do other things besides just mortgages. They do auto loans. They're kind of into a lot of stuff here. So that's Rocket Mortgage. And another one which very much intrigued me before I go out to questions is a REIT that I found called I'll just type it in over here. Unit. So their whole purpose of this REIT is to do like, and you can see here it kind of bounced up. The whole purpose of this REIT is, okay, I'll just read it to you. Unity is a REIT with about 130K route miles of fiber in the U.S., primarily in the Southwest. Unity reports its business in two segments, leasing and fiber. Leasing currently makes up about 2/3 of total revenue, consists mostly of units, master lease agreement with Windstream. Unity was spun out of Windstream back in 2015 with substantial portion of Windstream's network assets. So basically, and here we go. Other leasing revenue stems from lease saleback transactions with other fiber holders. Unity generates fiber revenue by leasing dark and lit fiber to wireless carriers and other enterprises. So basically, their whole real estate consists of like fiber optics cable installation, like companies, like places, and wireless hub places. They own the real estate for those type of places. So that's very, very interesting. And we can go over to FinViz and see how they see it. With 5G and all of those things, they're coming out and continuing to roll out here in the US. They're going to need places like these. And they're all kind of down because real estate's down, everything's down. But seeing as how they have a nice dividend and they're in a place where, okay, see, this is a cleaner definition. Unity is a internet managed real estate investment trust, REIT, which in the acquisition and construction of mission critical communications infrastructure, and is leading provider of wireless solutions for the communication industry. As of September 20, Unity owns 6.7 million fiber strand miles and other communications real estate throughout the United States. Something interesting to look at, especially how it's down this far, and it was as high as last quarters, as high as $20-$30, right? Hasn't been along for a while, but it's been around for at least 2015, right? So may not have completely found its bottom, but seeing as how when Rona came, its bottom was only $10. That kind of intrigues me to say that, like, okay, since it only bottomed in Rona, that maybe its floor is more of a $10 than the floor being like, $3 or something like that, or $2. So something intriguing to look at. What's up, Leonard? There's big deadlines for solar here in Cali. Any recommended index or ETFs in the solar industry? Yes, for sure. For sure. So if I'm looking at solar, well, again, CleanSpark does deals in with microgrids. So CleanSpark for me is kind of a solar play, really. But there are some solar ETFs there. Let me see if I have some on my list. Really, mine are like green energy plays. They're not directly I don't think any of these are directly hooked up with solar. Um, they're more about electrical vehicles. Um, yeah, they're more electrical vehicles and clean energy. I guess the closest that I'll come to like solar ones, and we can look up some solar ones here. Um, Plug Power is like a clean energy, but they're more like hydrogen technology. Let's see here. Yeah, hydrogen. Let's see. There are a couple solar ones. Let me switch to a different watch list here. Coming up here. I don't know. Maybe I deleted it. Okay, there it is. Clean energy. So these are more kind of like the clean energy power ones that I was looking at. Um, None of these are like ETFs, but one that you might want to look at. There's Sunrun here. Let's look at Sunrun. Sunrun is engaged in the design and development and installation, sale, ownership of and maintenance of residential solar energy systems in the United States. This company acquires customers directly through relationships with various solar partners. The solar systems are constructed by Sunrun or Sunrun Partners. Of course, they were much higher here when, they're like, oh, Biden's going to bring clean energy. And it kind of correlates directly with crypto too, right? This is the same type of bull cycle that crypto went through. Um, Now, I would be interested in looking in how much their earnings are. So yeah, you can see steady increase in revenue. Um, Went from like 72 million all the way up to 631 million. Definitely one to look at. You can see they beat all their earnings for the past 8 quarters. So Sunrun would be one to look at. Let's see here. It's another one. Sun Power. Let's just straight up look at their earnings as well. So they've been a little bit more kind of all over the place, whereas Sunrun has just been completely just earning. These guys a little bit way over the place, all over the place. Again, another bull run that kind of coincides with crypto. Okay, looking at this one, it seems like Sunrun's the better buy. Let's look at Renisol. So these guys are based in China, United States, Canada, Romania, England, Turkey, France, Poland, Hungary. Again, same 2021. They went up a lot, sitting at 450 something right now. Let's look at their earnings. Ugh. So yeah, nope, not them. Looks like Sun runs the winner as far as this goes. Plug Power, if you're looking for anything, hydrogen power. Let's look at this iSun right quick. Yeah, another small company. Yeah, I guess Sunrun would be the winner in this situation. Let's look at STEM. STEM might be hydrogen power again. Okay, now STEM's growing. They're growing real nicely. From the K's, the 100,000s, all the way to the millions, and growing quite nicely. This one was a SPAC. Went as high as $50 after being like a SPAC for like sitting in the $10 range. You're getting it here for lower than the SPAC price. Okay, energy storage systems. Okay. Company bundles third-party hardware with this proprietary Athena software to provide customers turnkey solutions. STEM sells its solutions to commercial and industrial consumers, as well as independent power producers, renewable developers. Its solution helps customers maximize renewable energy and helps bring a cleaner, more resilient grid. Okay, so of the ones that we just went through, I would only suggest STEM and SunPower based off of their earnings. STEM is a global leader in AI-driven clean energy solutions. So they're trying to hit everybody, all the buzzwords. So there we go with those. Okay, and that box right there, that's like one of their STEM boxes. Apparently they've hit all of these different companies. Meta, Southern California Edison, and California is making a big push for green energy. So that's definitely something to look at. So yeah, those look good. Those two look good. Manashati, my grandfather observed the RC toy car, and I was playing with. He said that was impossible. Now we operate drones on the other side of the world. Natural evolution. We're passing paper money hundreds of years now. Our economy, and yeah, for sure. What is up, Richard Judge? Blessings, bro. What's going on? Definitely, guys, go over and check out Richard Judge's YouTube. I'm happy to see that you got a channel now, brother. Happy New Year to you and your family as well. I hope you get everything you expect and more this year. It's going to be a nice year, guys. 2023, where we can go in and accumulate. It's going to be amazing. Right now is a whole accumulation period. So we can go and accumulate these nice stocks, these nice cryptos. Um, Man, it's going to be a great year. For people who are paying attention and not just following the status quo and all the Cramer like talking heads, we're really going to make some money coming up this year. Not financial advice, but that's just my word. I'm putting that word out there for all of us. Um, I'm putting that word out there for us. So let's see here. So if we ain't got any more questions, I'm going to sign off here. Thank you guys so much. And I wish you all, like I just said, the happy new year, that you get everything you expect and more. The power of expectation is very powerful. So guys, expect greatness this year. I am, and not only that I wish that you get the things that you expect, I wish that you get way more than that. So let's expect greatness this year, guys. Peace, love, and strength to all you guys and all your family. I may be on here again on Sunday. Of course, not on the Gentleman of Crypto Network, but on my own. This is also being streamed on my own network as well. But thank you guys so much. Have a good one, guys. Peace.